Hello and welcome to whatever I just said there. Hello and welcome to episode number 21 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is the first SmackDown for the month of June, as we begin our road to the Judgment Day pay-per-view at the end of the month for the SmackDown brand. Without any further ado, let us jump straight into the show. Goldberg starts the show. He says he's a man, and he can admit that he got beat at Money in the Bank. He was unbeaten for like 100 plus matches in WCW. He knows what it's like to take a loss, and at Money in the Bank he took a loss. However, the means in which he lost, in this instance, piss him off. Roman Reigns, if it wasn't for you, he says, I'd be the first ever and reigning 3-time Universal Champion. Braun beat me. That's good on him. Roman, however, you did not. So before you come out here and claim to be the next in line, I'm challenging you to a match. The forgotten WrestleMania main event at WWE Judgment Day to decide the true number one contender. And he goes to leave, but he stops. And he's like, and as for the Fiend, you were too scared to show your face at Money in the Bank. But boy, I got ya. I got ya loud and clear. So if you have the balls, show up to Judgment Day, and I'll lay you out too. So Goldberg laying the challenge out to Roman Reigns for Judgment Day, saying it's the forgotten WrestleMania main event. Will Roman accept? Only time will tell. Tag team match. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez defeat the team of Carmella and Dana Brooke when Dakota Kai pins Dana Brooke with some sort of big kick. And yeah, it's 24 for Raquel, 37 for Dakota, 45 for Carmella, 31 for Dana. After the match, though, Dakota Kai grabs a microphone. She's like, Raquel, come here a sec. She calls over. She's like, I've got a question for you. What brand are the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships assigned to? And Raquel, of course, can't answer. She shakes her head. She's like, I don't know. And Raquel's like, oh, you don't know? Why can't you answer? Because I'll tell you. It's Raw. Raquel, it's Raw. Raw. Oh, no, wait. It's not Raw. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championships can float between both shows. So that would explain why the champs were here last week. Oh no, they weren't. They ran scared and stayed over on Raw. Away from us. So you listen up, Kabuki Warriors. This is your invitation. Come to SmackDown next week. Face us at Judgment Day. Or you're cowards. So she's kind of right, because like ever since the Kabuki Warriors won the titles, they fought the Iconics, and they've been on Raw. They haven't really shown up on SmackDown at all during the whole build to that. So Dakota's like, well, bitch, come to SmackDown and come face us, or else you're scared. Mojo, Rawley, and Rob Gronkowski are reflecting on their loss to the Miz and Morrison at Money in the Bank. And Gronk's like, man, Mojo, where did it all go wrong? And Mojo, he can't answer, of course. And then Gronk suddenly gets an epiphany. It's like, what if there were more of us? Mojo's like, huh? And he's like, DX was more than just Triple H and Shawn Michaels. What if we had our China? Our New Age Outlaws? Our X-Pac? Mojo thinks, he's like, sure, but where do we find people that wanna... And they get cut off by Shotzi Blackheart from NXT. She's like, you guys talking about DX? And then Mojo's like, yeah. And she's like, I love DX. Look, I have the green hair, I have the rebellious attitude, and look, I even have the tank. And Gronk puts his arm around Shotzi and he's like, Shotzi, you're about to be part of something really special. And the three of them leave together. So, have they just found their China? Random match, Dolph Ziggler defeats Bo Dallas with a zigzag. Ziggler gets a 64, Bo a 34. Dolph needs to get a rebound win because while he is Dolph Ziggler and he's hard to take seriously anyway, I don't want to make him like a complete buffoon. So he lost to Ali, and now he's just beaten Bo Dallas as sort of a rebound win. Braun Strowman has a promo, and he says now Goldberg and Roman are finally out of his hair. He can focus on new challenges for his title, for Judgment Day at least. He will keep his eye on the number one contender's fatal four-way main event, which is between Daniel Bryan, King Corbin, Mustafa Ali, and Sheamus. And then he also says, and if the Fiend if it's after him, then he can come and get these hands. Of course, we don't know who the Fiend is targeting. We just sort of heard him laugh at the end of Money in the Bank. He didn't actually show his face. I assume that got that got put across correctly and no one assumed he came out, because I would have put a picture of him up. But I could have said that, or I just wanted to be fancy and have the fancy editing. So, yeah, but so if there was any confusion, no, he didn't actually show up. A moment of bliss, and it's the guests are Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And Alexa asks them why Sonya was so adamant to stop Mandy getting with Otis, and how their best friendship fell apart. And Sonya's like, well, friends are for losers. She didn't come here to be someone's friend, which is what she was for 2.5 years. She came here to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. And when she beats Mandy up next, she will go on to become just that. And Alexa's like, bub, I'm a former 4-time Women's Champion and a 2-time Tag Team Champion. And I've kept my best friend just fine. Maybe you're the problem. And Sonya looks at Alexa and says, look at you, you're just proving my point. Look at you now, hosting a talk show, like losing title matches. Loser. Then we go into Mandy versus Sonya, and Mandy Rose defeats Sonya Deville in 9:56 because Alexa Bliss takes exception to Sonya's comments and screws her and helps Mandy win. So Mandy Rose is the new #1 contender for the SmackDown Women's title. Speaking of which, in a 69 nice, Bayley and Miss Money in the Banks are backstage. Kayla asks Bayley for her thoughts on Mandy Rose becoming the #1 contender. Bayley laughs. She says she doesn't really care about Mandy. Mandy's not a threat. If that is the best that Paige has to offer, she's going to cry herself to sleep every night for another month, as there's no way Bayley's losing to Mandy Rose. And then Sasha steps in front of Bayley. She's like, and even if she does somehow, Mandy won't leave with the title. You can. She taps on the briefcase. Bank on that. So Sasha, of course, Money in the Bank, says they do have their insurance policy in case Bayley drops the title, that it can come back to the golden role models when the boss can cash in and take it off whoever beats Bayley. Not that anyone will beat Bayley, because they think she's holding forever. Hello, I am Elias. Echoes around, he's on the stage of a spotlight, and he's here to perform himself a song. He's made himself a special guest appearance on the latest track by J-Flo. And he introduces J-Flo, and they all come out, they all give him big hugs, and they sing a duet together with Elias on guitar. Nice and adorable. Before, in a 60-rated tag team match, Gran Metalik and Lindsay Dorado of the Lucha House Party defeat The Miz and John Morrison when Gran Metalik pins John Morrison clean as a whistle in the middle of the ring. 38 for Lindsay, 46 for Metalik, 65 for Morrison, 70 for Miz. Sami Zayn promo. And he welcomes the new Intercontinental Champion, his best friend Cesaro. He comes out, but he's like sort of confused and very skeptical of what Sami's saying. I mean, he accepts Sami's congratulations. He's like, but Sami, I'm not stupid. And Sami's buttering up to him just way too hard to try and get a rematch. That's what you're doing, Sami. And Sami's like, no, that's not what I'm doing. And then so I was like, okay, well, if you're not just buttering up to me tonight, why did you laugh at Money in the Bank when Nakamura hit you with that low blow after the match? Sami says, oh, no, that wasn't me laughing. That was just me merely admiring the desire of Shinsuke Nakamura, who is also still my best friend. And then so I was like, oh, nah, Sami, you're just full of shit. You're full of shit. You're a piece of shit, and you're just trying to weasel up to me, trying to get a rematch for this title. And Sami's like, no. First of all, how dare you use that language with me? And second of all, how can I prove to you that I'm serious? And Sami's like, well, next week, give me a match against Nakamura, and I want you banned from ringside so you can't screw me and help him win. And if you're really impartial, you'll just sit back and let us have a match without getting involved. And Sami's like, well, obviously I can't book matches here, but I'll speak to Paige and see if she can get it booked in for you, my best friend Cesaro. But I wish you luck against my other best friend Shinsuke Nakamura, and hope we can all overcome this little bump in the road for the Artist Collective. So Sami Zayn very much kissing ass, trying to convince Cesaro he didn't stab him in the back at Money in the Bank, and he's not choosing Nakamura over him by hopefully he's gonna sanction an IC title match for next week. A Zafar Ali promo. He says he's made he has been on the case of the heavy machinery attack for the last 2 weeks, and he has a revelation on it to reveal to the world next week. But more importantly, he'll do that next week, not as Mustafa Ali the Hacker, but as Mustafa Ali Universal Championship #1 contender. Which he will do, because in 1941, Mustafa Ali defeats Daniel Bryan, King Corbin, and Sheamus when Ali pins Sheamus with the 054. Ali gets a 63, 82 for Bryan, 66 for Corbin, and for Sheamus, in a 78 rated match, which is fucking good. And that is the main event of a show which scores us a 74. We're so close to not losing pop. If I put the Ali promo before the Sami Zayn promo, I wouldn't have lost pop. It's little things like that which are making me lose pop. But again, more importantly than what the game thinks is what you thought of the show. So do let me know in the comments what you thought. And I'll see you next time for Raw. See you then.